throughout the day on Twitter. Good evening. Welcome to the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. I want to thank you everyone for joining me here this evening here on the Black Conservative Voice. It's always a pleasure to come to you and to share some news items and things of interest in current events. I just want to greet you here this evening just to thank you for continuing to view this program. We're going to be continuing to move forward. We have several interviews coming up this week. I'm very excited about it. We have coming up an interview with the Families Against Fentanyl president, and also we have a politician coming this week, John Morlach. So be watching, and we'll be right back with you on that later on this week. But in the news today, Trump appears energized at his first major campaign rally since COVID-19 recovery. President Trump on Monday evening appeared at his first rally outside the White House since he tested positive for coronavirus earlier this month. Trump tossed MAGA, or Make America Great, face masks to the crowd of thousands who chanted praise for the president soon before he took the podium. He then spoke about his bout with COVID-19, promising to distribute his treatment to hospitals across the country. We're going to take whatever the heck they gave me and distribute it to around the hospitals. Everyone is going to have the same darn thing. I don't want to use the words he used. He said. Trump then sounded off on a range of issues, repeatedly blasting Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, who he said would turn America into a communist state. If he wins, the radical left will be running the country. If that's Biden. They're addicted to power, he said of Biden. They want to punish the middle class. They will replace the American dream with a socialist nightmare, he added. The 7 p.m. rally at an airport hangar in Sanford, Florida, kicked off on the same day that Supreme Court nominee Coney Barrett began a state Senate confirmation hearing. President Trump spoke for about an hour, then walked off the stage while dancing to YMCA by the Village People. Early on Monday, President Trump criticized the senators throughout the day on Twitter and later turned to his competitor Joe Biden, blasting him for apparently not being able to draw crowds at his campaign events and for other gaffes, I guess. Trump ridicules Biden for saying he's running for Senate, forgetting Romney's name. Almost nobody showed up to Sleepy Joe Biden's rally in Ohio. The reporting and polls are a media con job, fake news. We have far more support and enthusiasm than even in 2016, President Trump said. November 3rd will be a great day for the American people, he wrote in one tweet, or for America. Sleepy Joe Biden had particularly a bad day. He couldn't remember the name of Mitt Romney, and again he was running for U.S. Senate and forgot what state he was in, he added in another comment. Trump has been off the campaign trail since his bout with COVID-19 that landed him in a Maryland hospital for 3 days. On Monday, the White House doctor said that President Trump has tested negative for the virus on consecutive days, which means following that he's tested negative. Now, let me share something with you. Before I go into this next story, I'm going to share a little bit about it. Nancy Pelosi had a press conference last week on Thursday, and she talked about this issue of the 25th Amendment, which controls or dictates the changing of power. At some point, when she was talking, and then she spoke a little later on in other news programs, she made it very clear that she wanted it to be, if President was incapacitated, that she herself, the House Speaker, will become president, because the Vice President would now be president, so we would need a new Vice President, and that could be the Speaker of the House. It was so comical, because she's so clear on what her main purposes are. And we will find out about that in just a moment in this next story that's coming up after the break. Well, thank you for joining us here on Black Conservative Voice, and we'll be right back with you in a moment.
Dr. Melinda Morris supports a strong economy, safe neighborhoods, limited property taxes, and promotes an improved education system. Dr. Melinda Morris wants to improve access and insurance coverage for medical care. Dr. Morris is pro-life and will support right-to-life legislation in Austin. Dr. Morris will remain true to her values when she is elected to office. She is going to Austin to promote life, prosperity, and personal freedom for the constituents of Senate District 13.
To every single mother, every small business owner, every farmer, every cancer survivor, and every woman out there who has ever been put down by the establishment, it's time to stand up. On November 3rd, we need you to write in Ola Hawatma on the ballot under New York 19th Congressional. Make history in the New York 19th District with the first woman to win by a write-in. Don't just vote. Make history on November 3rd, 2020. Write in Ola Hawatma.
Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. What did I say? Surprise, surprise. Pelosi questions Trump's health, says we're going to be talking about the 25th Amendment. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi made a dramatic announcement during her weekly press conference, as we said earlier, Thursday, by telling reporters that she intends to discuss constitutional measure to remove President Trump from office, following questions regarding Trump's health as he recovers from coronavirus. Now, in that same news conference, she said, no, this thing about the 25th Amendment review had nothing to do with President Trump. And I see here that later on that she admittedly said it did have something to do with that. And she's going to, as you hear what I'm about to tell you, she's going to push toward it. She's going to try to have them declare President Trump incompetent if he gets reelected. We'll see how that's going to work out. The 25th Amendment allows for the Vice President to become acting president if it is determined that the president is unable to discharge powers and duties of his office. So let us see a date at the time when the last tested negative thing she added. The 25th Amendment requires a declaration of the president's inability from the vice president and either a majority of either the heads of executive branch departments or such other bodies as Congress may deem lawful, Congress may by law provide to be, says the Speaker of the House, in this case Pelosi, and the President pro tempore, the Senate. Currently, Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican from Iowa. While the amendment allows for Congress to pass a law that would create a body to sign off on such a declaration, Pelosi would have to convince the Senate Republicans to go along with it. Plus, Vice President Mike Pence, would also have to sign the declaration as well, which would be highly unlikely. We know that is very, very true. It's very highly unlikely. Trump said during a Fox Business interview Thursday morning that he is feeling good and does not believe he is contagious at all. During a recent interview on ABC News this week, Pelosi was discussing Trump's nomination of a new Supreme Court justice to replace the late Justice Ruth Ginsburg. Pelosi gave a cryptic response when asked whether she and House Democrats, of course, would move to impeach the president or Attorney General Bill Barr in the effort to prevent the Senate from acting on the nomination. Now, we're going to pause right there for a second. It has already been stated, and this is something that's news in California, that Adam Schiff is already saying if he is reelected to the Congress, he is going to seek impeachment once again. I have no idea for what, but he's going to go after it. People, please vote that idiot out of office, because he's going to go back in and hold up everything else in the government. We're not going to be able to accomplish nothing, especially also Nancy Pelosi as well. I look for any kind of foolishness to turn up in the next few weeks, because kind of leading up to the election, because Nancy Pelosi and them, they're still harping on the same garbage as they did before. Then Nancy goes on to say, we have options. We have our options. We have arrows in our quiver. I'm not about to discuss right now, but the fact is we have a big challenge in our country, Pelosi said. Since then, she appeared to rule out impeachment, telling reporters, I don't think he's worth the trouble at this point at all. And I'm going to tell you, before I take this next break, I'm going to tell you, to me, Nancy Pelosi, and this is the way I've always seen it, Nancy Pelosi acts as whatsoever. He calls her crazy. He doesn't focus on her at all, and she's just trying to get attention. I've seen a lot of younger women going through the same type of things in relationships to men. And Nancy Pelosi, they can say whatever they want. They'll eventually find out somewhere along the line that she really cared a lot for President Trump. But when a jilted lover or somebody who can't have what they want, what do? They start attacking that person. Seen it happen so many times in my life. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with you in a moment here on the Black Conservative Voice, and I'm David Colbert.
I'm Greg Raths. As a veteran, current council member, local businessman, I know our community. As your congressman, I'll fight to reduce healthcare costs, keep our cities safe, and our communities healthy. Our jobs protected, our economy growing, and our nation defended. Orange County is a wonderful place to live, work, and raise a family, but together we can make it even better.
Vote Greg Raths for Congress.
I'm Greg Raths, and I approve this message.
President Trump made a promise to protect our Social Security and Medicare. He kept that promise, and he always will. Today, Social Security and Medicare are strong, and under President Trump, they will never be cut. President Trump is protecting pre-existing conditions. Prescription drugs are more affordable. The cost of insulin is going down. Under President Trump, our benefits and our health care are safe and secure.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Well, as I said earlier, and I told you guys this last week, I believe the later part of last week, I told you, maybe not the later part, somewhere in midweek last week, I told you that the Democrats in this Amy Coney Barrett confirmation hearings are going to focus on health care. And I will guarantee you that somewhere within this week, they're going to start talking about abortion rights and the woman's right to choose. It's coming. It's coming. It's going to be an ugly mess, but it is coming. They want to stand behind killing the babies, and I'm sorry, that's what I kill it. That's what I call it. That's what I call it, and that's what it is. It's murdering of babies. You can say what you want about it. You can have a baby. You can carry a baby. You can take that baby to term and put it up for adoption if you want that child. That could be your choice. But to kill babies in the womb or up to 9 months, as the Democratic Party have already passed legislation to do that, what is that? That's what some call it, I guess it was infanticide. You want to kill babies. Simple as that. And I will also talk to my people, the African-American people. There was a thing I discussed earlier about pro-life earlier this week. About 40 40 Days for Life, an organization that is in 63 different countries around the world, I mentioned that they said that 17,000 aborted babies were found in a dumpster many years ago. And they said, listen to this, and I mentioned this and I will mention it again, 13,000 of those babies were black. 13,000 of those aborted babies were black. We've got to wake up, people. My mom used to say this all the time. I love her. Henrietta was my mom's name. And she used to always say this. She used to say, well, one thing, consider the source. And it just skipped my mind exactly what it was. But I did want to mention that she's saying that if this is strange to you, think about what this is saying. We talk about in this media today, all these different things about Black Lives Matter and all this, but do Black lives really matter? Do people talk about the woman who originally started this abortion thing the first time, the one who even legislated and brought this all together? That woman, her main objective was, if you want to say something, was a racist objective. She set abortion up to kill African American and black babies. That was what it was all made about. It was put together to try to shrink the population of blacks in this country. And unfortunately, the African American or black population has bought into this mess by killing of our babies. You kill babies, you're killing our future. So I urge you, even those listening to me right now, if you're African American, you think about abortion, you better have that baby, because they're trying to kill us, kill blacks. And I'm not talking about police. I'm talking about those who don't like the African American community. And if they can kill you through abortions, they will kill you through that, because they realize what our future is about. They realize that if you allow those babies to live, they may accomplish things in their life and they go forward to do great things in this country. So if this is true, people, I'm going to say this one more time because we're going to get ready to talk about Amy Coney Barrett. If this is true, what this is saying is there's going to be far less black people in this country than it is right now. If you keep killing your babies, which a lot of you are, African American babies, abortions are highest amongst you. This is what the statistics say. We need to stop it, people. There's a lot of people out there who are happy about this. Needless to say, some they're in the Supreme Court were happy about it. Those who pushed through Roe versus Wade the first time. I think we need to eliminate that. I think we need to find some type of way, and there may be legislation or something already out there that will allow those fetuses to be transferred somewhere else, to be put into another womb or whatever, so that those babies can live. But to kill babies outright, to me, is murder. And the United States government should not be financially supporting this situation. And that's really what they're fighting about. Now, I can't remember the exact name of the bill, but this thing was overturned years ago, yet it has never been enacted. Over 30 years ago, they say, that it was said that that we were not in this country to support abortion financially, the government. But that bill has never been enacted because it's been constantly blocked by the Democrat Party. They hate you, people. They hate you. They don't like American people. All they care about is what President Trump was saying. All they care about is power and money. Think about who they are. I'm not saying there are no Republican attorneys, but think about who they are. They're attorneys. Look at their fees and wonder why they're always pushing politics. They talk bad about President Trump even when he was sick. And Nancy Pelosi is an embarrassing thing, but I know she's going to go after President Trump again. She's going to try to say he's incompetent. He's not able to run this country because he had coronavirus. And you'll hear, I lost part of my report today, but she's also saying that he's lying about not having the coronavirus. and she's saying that he had the coronavirus for a long time, which is pure foolishness. If a man's being tested all the time, he's testing negative, you're going to come and you're going to tell the doctors, well, they're lying. He was already had the coronavirus. They're just bringing it out now because they need to take care of it. Well, we got a big job ahead of us in November, on November 3rd and or before early voting. Please vote Republican in the general election and get rid of Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and all those radical Democrats that we all know about. AOC, Ilhan Omar, the other one, I don't even remember her name. But we need to get them out of office. They want to try and make this a communist nation. And believe you me, they're after that, and they're all over the country, and they're now heading out around the world. Let's move on. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with you in a moment here on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert.
Do you care about Black lives? I do. And unlike the people that currently run Baltimore, I actually have a plan to make life better for Black people here. Walk with me. I want you to see this. I'm Kim Klasick. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This city was once among the most prosperous, populated, and powerful cities in America. So what happened? Our leaders abandoned us and Baltimore fell into ruin. But it doesn't have to be this way. None of this has to be this way. A broken Baltimore does not have to be our future. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I see the city differently.
I walk the streets of Baltimore and see what could be. I want you to see what I see. I see Baltimore that picks up trash. There are piles of garbage all around Baltimore. It makes life unsafe for our families. I'll work with city leaders to get Baltimore's Solid Waste Bureau the resources it needs to take out the trash.
Our streets should be a reflection of our leaders. Clean, not dirty.
Much of our trash gathers in abandoned homes. There are over 17,000 abandoned buildings in Baltimore. They are a scar on the face of our city.
I will support tax credits and incentive programs to give residents a chance to buy and rehabilitate these homes. Everyone deserves a safe community and a chance at home ownership. Let's put the charm back in Charm City.
Who will live in these homes? The newly employed constituents of Baltimore City. This district needs more jobs. The best way to get them is by having businesses invest in our community. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act gives federal tax incentive to drive private investment into opportunity zones just like Baltimore. Who will work in all of these new jobs if we don't have an educated workforce? 9 out of 10 Black boys in Baltimore are not reading at grade level. Over a dozen high schools in Baltimore have zero students proficient in math. This is a tragedy. We can end the school to prison pipeline with school choice, providing parents with options to escape schools that do not serve our children.
Let's make Baltimore better for our kids. Isn't that the point? That's my vision for Baltimore. The corrupt leaders hate it. They attack me for taking a stand, for wanting better for our people, our children, our communities. But I'm not the only one who wants better.
Tens of millions of you have shared the struggle of Black people in Baltimore. You lifted our voices. You cared about our Black lives more than our own Democrat leaders. They have done nothing for us. Now they can't hide. It's time for change. We are that change.
I'm Kim Klasick, and I'm running for Congress because I actually care about Black lives. All Black lives matter. Our communities matter. We matter. And Baltimore doesn't have to vote Democrat.
Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. I do apologize. I do get very passionate about this killing of babies and this abortion issue. I'm very ticked off about these things are allowed to go on in this country, and I'm quite certain God is not happy with it as well. Senate holds confirmation hearings for Amy Coney Barrett to be Supreme Court Justice. During the course of the day, every single Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee mentioned health care. What did I say? In their opening remarks. In a show of disciplined messaging, they honed in on fears that Barrett would overturn the Affordable Care Act if she were confirmed to the Supreme Court, which is set to hear a case about the constitutionality of the Obama-era health care law just 1 week after the election. Health care coverage for millions of Americans is at stake, they say, with this nomination. California Senator Dianne Feinstein, these people need to go. The ranking member of the committee said she's set up the plan of attack for the rest of the week. My colleagues and I will focus on that subject. Boy, this is going to be ugly, as it always is when it comes to the radical left. Barrett's confirmation is highly likely, even with two possible defections from Maine Senator Susan Collins and Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski. And you two senators, look out. You are turning against somebody who is put in by our president, and or at least nominated by our president. Not to say he's going to be after you, but the American people have to vote in November. And we know who is defecting against the conservative candidate for the Supreme Court. For many years, the liberals have controlled the courts and caused all type of foolish legislation to come into pass, one being, of course, Roe versus Wade. Republicans would still have the votes to confirm her without any Democrat support. Republicans have been pushing to confirm Barrett before Election Day, which would lock in 6-3 majority on the nation's highest court for generations. But that is not why they're doing it. This is a constitutional measure. It cannot be left vacant. That seat has to be filled, because what's going to happen if they allow that seat to remain empty, if there's a challenge brought out once again over this impeachment foolishness against President Trump, then you'll have a full court thing there. And so if one moves over, goes over, whatever, the court will be imbalanced. So we need the 9-person Supreme Court. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, said Monday, "I think I know how the votes are going to come out." But he added, "This is going to be a long, contentious week." And I agree with you, Senator Graham. Make sense of what matters in Washington. Sign up for the daily, to be briefed daily with the letter briefing from the daily briefings. Anyway, for both parties, Barrett's hearing may be more about making a pitch to their base as voters head to the polls for changing their colleagues' minds about the judge. Senator Amy Colbert, a Democrat from Minnesota, said as much on Monday, addressing voters. "I doubt that if it will be a brilliant cross-examination that's going to change this judge's trajectory this week. No, it is you. It is calling the Republican senators and telling them enough is enough," she said. "It is you voting even when they try to do everything to stop you." The Republicans are not trying to do anything to stop anybody in regard to that vote for Justice Amy Coney Barrett. And, you know, I looked at this lady Colbert. Man, I don't know. When I came up, there were certain people that just had a nasty, demeanor. And to me, she just puts me off with her demeanor. It's kind of like, well, I don't know, you've seen it, you people out there, you've probably seen this. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. And you need to listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. You American people, you don't know what you want. That's the kind of attitude that the Democrat Party has. They think we're fools. They think we're foolish. They think we don't know what we want, and we need to follow them. We need to listen to them, and we need to just shut up. And shut up, man, or be quiet, man, like former Vice President Joe Biden always says, or Miss Kamala Harris disrespecting Mike Pence by telling him, well, I'm talking, sir. Oh, man. You don't know. I came up in the black communities. I am African-American or black, what you want to call me. And those attitudes I've seen throughout my entire life. Kamala Harris is not someone we want sitting in the White House for any reason. Not even on the cabinet. We don't want her in there at all. She's a street person, pretty much. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. In some ways, it might be good. But to me, she just seems like just your next door neighbor. Everyday Joe with a bad mouth and a bad attitude. And even this claim that she's black, that's neither here nor there. I really don't see her that way. She's had two people of color, gave birth to her, and she's biological. But as far as black goes, in this country where I came from, in the communities I come from, she wouldn't be considered that. I don't care what the color of her skin is. But anyway, I know I went off a little bit on a tangent tonight, but I just wanted to share my heart and what I think is going on in this country. And I'm definitely pro-life. I'm against these justices that will stand up and kill a baby. They sat on there and they sat there and they make judgments on the lives of children. Killing babies. I'm really against that. Horribly against it. But I want to tell you something else I'm against. I'm against a Congress. And I'm talking to all of Congress right now. We need to get a stimulus package passed for the American people. We are hurting. There are people who need, I'm not saying that we want to go more in debt, but we need help. This coronavirus pandemic has hurt a lot of us here in this country. People lost their jobs, lost their businesses, and they're wondering, well, how are we going to come back? Yet you sit in Washington and you're taking vacations off 2 weeks. Oh, I love to take a 2-week vacation and be able to go somewhere and celebrate and be with my family. But do we as American people get that? No. You get to take all these vacations, go to Maine or go to wherever you go to. And the American people are suffering and everybody seems to be ignoring it, especially in Congress. Trying to pass these bills just to bail out cities that want to keep closed down. This foolishness has to stop, and I'm urging everyone in November 3rd to vote Republican and vote these Democrats out of office that are trying to keep your cities closed and are trying to keep you from receiving funds that you desperately need at this time as we try to recover our own personal lives from these situations. Granted, the economy is starting to look better, but still, there are a lot of us out of work, and a lot of us are still suffering. Well, I better get off my soapbox, but I do want to offer you an opportunity. If you want to advertise on this program, your small businesses or your political campaign, we're open to ads, and our ads are very reasonable. And you contact us with the email on the bottom of the screen, and we'll send you out a package, and you can advertise on this station. Our station is up and running 24 hours a day. And so if you want to advertise on it, you can be set in for commercial. But I do thank you for joining us here once again on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. And I will see you tomorrow here on the Black Conservative Voice here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. And I want to say, as I always do this. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. And this is David Colbert, once again, from the Black Conservative Voice here on the CTM News Network, saying good night and God bless.